What is up, YouTube? We're Silver Screen Savants, and this is episode number 12. This is my pick this week, and we are talking about Chitty Chitty Bang Bang.
Bang.
And as always, is my co-host DJ Anubis. And also we have Jedi Green Veil joining us again for this episode.
Yes.
New episode slut.
Yeah, right. Me or Olvin? I mean, I know you. I am. Yes, I figured that.
Know you are.
I know.
And we are talking about the Dick Van Dyke led Chitty Chitty Bang Bang, though. But first, what was your guys' first time viewing this movie for the first time, like the first ever time? You know, like when did you see it for the first time? And just to give the viewers, you know, background on when you saw this movie, all that information. Excuse me.
Go ahead, Jedi.
Well, for me, this is way back in this. I'm really beginning to feel my age when I say way back, and it's like because it was way back. I think it was nearly 50 years ago that I actually saw this film on television with my family. And I can't remember what broadcast it was on, but network was on. But I saw it late one night, and it was my first interaction with this film. And I've seen musicals before. I've seen, like, say, Wizard of Oz, various other ones. Came out the olden age of Hollywood. But it was, like I say, it was like middle late 70s when I saw it, and it had a really good impression on me because the anytime you hear the song that comes up, say "Chitty Chitty Bang Bang, Chitty Chitty Bang Bang, Chitty Chitty Bang Bang, we love you," it's like it sticks in your head for so long, and it's just like it just made that impression on me, and ever since then, it's just like been one of those childhood favorites of mine. I mean, it's funny how you look at it then and compared to now, you realize, like, okay, I mean, it's got some things that you may not disagree with, but it's still something that I find is kind of entertaining, even to this day.
Yeah. For me, I probably saw this many years ago as well, but I didn't really remember a lot of it until I watched it yesterday. Certainly, it doesn't have the same appeal to me as, say, Mary Poppins, which I remember seeing. I think I actually saw that in a theater when I was young, either through my babysitter or my parents. I can't remember, but I know that Jedi and I will probably bring this up a couple of times because of how this film relates to Mary Poppins and other Dick Van Dyke stuff. But I remember seeing when this movie started, like the credits, I immediately, when I saw Ian Fleming and Albert R. Broccoli, I said, this is why Alvin likes this, because it's tied to James Bond.
Yes.
And I was actually kind of surprised. I didn't know that Fleming did stuff outside of the Bond stuff, so that's kind of a neat thing for him to do that. But yeah, last night was really the first time I'd sat with in a long time. And I told Jedi earlier that I could not believe this is a 2.5 hour movie. I was like, what the fuck? I had never seen this film and realized it was this long, because I don't think even Mary Poppins was that long, was it?
It was like a little over 2 hours, but not as long as this one.
So that's pretty much my story on this one.
And to me, I'm about 5 years old when I see this for the first time. I remember watching it in a church for the first time, actually. Funny enough, I'm like, oh boy, what am I watching? I mean, this is probably my first ever movie also. So, I mean, this is my first experience with this movie, and I actually fell in love with it. I mean, it's a classic. It's deep. It has a special place in my heart, and that's something not a lot of movies, like the movies from our childhoods and stuff, they stick around if you're in your heart, but others also might, and that's just me. We want to go into different music and stuff like that stuff, because I know they're famous. The Sherman Brothers is, if I'm not mistaken, are the people that did the music for the score.
Well, you might want to just give people who are watching like a breakdown what the movie's about and who's involved, like as far as actors for it.
Oh, okay. So we have Dick Van Dyke, who is our lead. He is Caractacus Potts. Sally Ann Howe. Sally Ann. What's her?
Sally Ann Howe, yeah. She plays Truly Scrumptious. It's a very her and Dick Van Dyke's characters' names are such, just over the top, kind of character names. I guess it's so you don't forget them, because we hear Caractacus, it's like, okay, you cracking the world open or something, and then Truly, it's like her first name is Truly, and then when you hear the last name is Scrumptious, it's like, wow, Truly Scrumptious. I mean, that's not by accident. That's by design, right there. And I think that's the whole point of the story. It's like we have, and then his kids are like Jeremy and Jemima,
Jemima,
yes,
and Jeremy.
two JJs, as we like to say.
It's like, what are you doing then?
So, but I guess I say I don't think that's by accident. I think that's truly by design by the creators of this, and it's like I say, it's a fun romp, because it's set in pre World War One, and as you find out, like I say, the character of Heraclius, he's pretty much a silly inventor. He's a absent-minded kind of professor type of individual, and we have to remind ourselves that he's a widower. His wife passed away. We don't know when, but he's fathered these two very ambitious little children who are like him, dreamers. They're very. I got to give that to the two actors who play the kids. They're such dreamers. They have such strong will, strong ambitions, just like their dad. And I like that because they have a special connection to one another, because this is like I say, this is at a time when, kids were more respectful to their parents anyway, whereas today, these kids are just like all over the map going against the grain with their parents, but they had more respect for them. And they believed in their father, even though he might have things that are not working out. But in the toll of what we're going on, we find out that he will purchase a car. And we'll get to that part. But it starts out, as the film starts out, we see that it starts out with this car. We don't know what it's all about. We just see that it's winning all these races through Europe. And we finally find out when we see it gets destroyed during a event which I'll bring up again too. In fact, I'll bring it up now because I got to get this off my chest real quick. This is a film where kids just run in the street, run in front of cars, and it's like, what the hell?
Hold on, your audio's breaking up.
To the damn car,
Your audio is breaking up there for a second.
Is it? Oh, you hear me now?
Yeah, I hear it now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, I don't know. It might be I hope it's not my Wi-Fi. Because it happens like that. But no, the car that they do purchase, the reason why it gets destroyed is because some kid runs out into the lane where the cars are racing, and it's like, who let this child onto the racing platform? Well, who did that? Nobody's watching this kid. So I just had to get that off my chest because it's funny how this happened just once, but twice in this film. I was like, wow. But
also in the cast alongside Sally Ann Howe, Dick Van Dyke, Hedda Ripley is Jemima. We also have Lionel Jeffries as Grandpa. Adrian Hall, he is Jeremy. Robert Helpman is the child catcher. Dun dun dun.
Yes. His character extremely over the top, I have to say. Very much.
Anna Quayle is in this movie. She is the Baroness. Gert Frobe is Baron Bombers. He is also in Goldfinger. He is Goldfinger in the movie Goldfinger.
Yes.
Goldfinger.
Barbara.
Go ahead.
Barbara Windsor is the blonde at the fair.
And I'm pretty sure you noticed that Q is in this film.
So this is probably I want to put this out there. I think this was before Bond started, but don't quote me on that. Or this could have been going on.
This was a 68.
Yeah.
I thought Bond might start in 67 or maybe earlier. Maybe.
No, 62.
62, yes. Okay. So earlier. So yeah.
So we have a brief cameo by the gentleman who plays I forget his name, and that was Desmond Llewellyn. He plays Q in the films before this one and after, and he just makes a small cameo in this picture playing the scrap dealer.
Yep. And then we have another famous actor in Benny Hill in this movie.
Yep.
See, this is my movie. This is probably my movie that I've introduced me to Benny Hill. I have never seen any movies outside of this with Benny Hill, but that's just me.
I think that I'm pretty sure Newis has too. We've seen him in earlier iterations when he was doing the Benny Hill show. I don't know if you ever watched it, Newis, but yes, I used to watch that show as a kid, and
it's quite funny.
Yeah, he definitely is very, very, very funny, you know, and he's hilarious. So yes, and this is kind of at the time when Monty Python was doing their stick also, you know. So that's how I think I was introduced to Benny Hill after I was introduced with Monty Python.
And also in this is James Robertson Justice, I think is his name. He is Lord Scrumptious.
Yes.
Scrumptious.
Desmond Llewellyn is in this, of course, like you mentioned, Jedi. Peter Arney, he is the captain of the guard. Alexander Dore, he is Herman. He is one of the Baron Bombburst spies.
Yes.
Stanley Unwin, Davy K, Bird Spear, Arthur. I'm just going. I don't know if I need to go over all the cast, but that's a lot.
Not all of them, just the primary ones. You know,
I think I hit most of the primary ones because the others are like inventors, chess players.
You don't have to go that far. I mean, because like I say, we got the majority of who's the ones that are the
main cast. Yeah.
And it's like how you said, Jedi, this movie, it's about the car. It's about how the car was used in the car races and how the girl, you know, the child was ran out into the raceway and almost gets run over.
And we can see that, of course, it veers off to avoid hitting her, and it explodes. And I'm pretty sure y'all can tell that these cars are pretty big for the time that they were built. I mean, I when really watching this, I didn't remember these cars being this big, and that's actually how big some of these cars really were back during that time, the early 20th century. They were really big.
One thing I was also going to point out, and I have noticed this in the credits also, is for the special effects is done by a man named John Steers. Yes. If you're not familiar with him, he was in the Connery Bond era. He did the first couple of Connery Bond movies also.
Yes, he did several effects for the Bond films, but he also did the effects on the original Star Wars, believe it or not. You know, so that's something. That's just a little tidbit for you, just in case you didn't know.
And by the way, I should point this out. You guys can see that I have the feature on StreamYard right now. So it's in the bottom corner. It's underneath where my name is. There's comments and stuff. So I didn't know if you guys knew this or not, but I have the new feature on. So
how'd you do that?
It's so on your StreamYard, you go up and on the where the show is, and it's in the beta. There's a thing, and it'll be underneath StreamYard where it's live viewer comments. Show up on StreamYard. Instead of clicking them, you can. There's a thing that says ? Show comments on ? On stage ? And then it's in beta, and then you click that. Click it once, and it will enable comments on your StreamYard. It'll show them like in this little box down here.
That's actually pretty convenient. I didn't know that was there though.
Yeah, I just saw that the other day, and I'm like, wow, this is a cool feature. This is new.
Well, yeah, because that's sort of like what Twitch does. So that's a nice little feature. I mean, I thought I read they were doing that, but I just didn't know how to go about doing it.
I didn't know this about this guy's comment about the old guy that plays the king in Chitty Chitty Bang Bang. Lionel Jeffries was a fantastic mime. Few people knew that.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I didn't know that either.
There's actually a lot of, especially the old school actors and actresses. They had a lot of different kinds of talent, not just with singing or dancing. Some of them were acrobatics, you know. Some of them do their own stunts. It's like they had a lot of range during that time. I think they just got that training because they either went to school for it or they just had a natural thing doing that when they were growing up. I'm never sure, but yeah.
Mm-hmm. And then this is just, and then from the car crash and stuff, it's like you said, Jedi were introduced to Desmond Llewellyn in the cameo. I think his character is, I want to say he's like his character role is some like owner of the car, or
He's the owner of the car, but he's more of
he's
a
trying to get rid of
seller of stuff that he has.
salesperson.
A salesperson. So that's pretty much what he is.
True thespians. Interesting.
That is true. Yeah, they were very good. This is the acting before acting became not so much what it is now. They really had, as I say, they had a lot of range with what they were doing back then, because you got to remember, these were the time when musicals was a staple in cinema, and they've been doing musicals since the earliest when film was invented, and musicals really started to fade out by the late 70s, early 80s, something like that. It's very rare that you see them now, because I guess some people don't really in tune into those, but I mean, I still love them. It's still something that I feel it, because I can say it's something from my childhood. And that's probably why
I would say I'm the same way. I still if I'll watch like if any musicals nowadays, it's like I'll watch classic musicals and stuff, from back when younger days, like The Lion King and all those, I wanted to bring up when you said about the mother. I don't remember ever hearing him talk about the wife, if he was ever married or anything.
Well, it's in the synopsis. I mean, I read that he was most likely a widower, but I mean, it's as you say, it's probably not implied, but it's there.
Mm-hmm.
Some films, like it's almost like Andy Griffin. We don't see any female because he has a son, but it's like, is she like deceased, or they never that's the one thing they never do, especially back then. So I let you know, yeah. See, yeah. See, that's the thing. But no, just to finish what I was saying is that back then, if whether it be a woman or a man, if they have a child, they do not mention or bring up the D word. They never bring that up. They never say that this person are separated from anyone. They never say that, because they feel like they want to keep that kind of image of saying, like, okay, they're probably deceased because that's why they have kids. And if you bring up divorce, it would be a kind of a shatter to the senses of, like, to the audience, like, oh, well, when you're breaking that illusion that you can be happy, you can be married and be stable in being with someone, and the term "till death do us part," that's the only way you can be okay with. But if you say divorce, not allowed. That shows how much has changed later on, because we've seen films like Kramer versus Kramer. Some future Die Hard films had the character divorced from his wife. It's like, no, we're not going to go there. We're going to say, we ain't going to pretend that they're deceased or anything like that. They're separated. They're not happy together, and I feel that that's what he shows here. He is fathering these children, but he's pretty much a lonely man. He's just has these kids, and that's all he has. And he's a pretty eccentric individual. He's invents things. He's just very outgoing, very flamboyant, but he would like to have someone share that experience and just life in general with him.
That's a good point. What he just brought up. I don't know if you can see that in the comment in the thing little box, but
yeah, see,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they never do that. I mean, that's because I say this was a time when they did that, and if you really go back before the 70s start, they'll never mention divorce. They never do that. But after the 70s began, that word started coming up.
I like how, it kicks off right after. Well, we just got a lot of viewers.
Thought of what?
Just got 5 right in.
Oh, okay.
Okay, something happened. But anyways, I like how it goes from the salesperson to the kids running out into the street. You almost feel like they're gonna get run over, and then Truly goes, "Here's Truly." She goes right there into the into the water, the little pond or whatever. I guess that's what it is, a pond or something like that. And then she's like, "Where aren't you in school?" And all this line happens, and to there. From there, it goes to where we're introduced to Caractacus Potts, who's Dick Van Dyke, and I like how he's an inventor. I like that character aspect of Dick Van Dyke. I just gel something about this role of his compared to the Bankman in Gojira 851.
What's that?
Goji.
Yes.
To it going to the role of Grandpa, introducing Grandpa after you were introduced to Caractacus Potts. I also find that kind of funny and interesting, right when you're introduced to Caractacus Potts, he comes out of his little workshop thing, and he's got a rocket on his back, and he's like lights it up. He's also got 2 skis.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's the truth about what he saying about child catcher's actor.
Yes.
I'm sure we'll get into him short in a little. And then to Caractacus Potts lighting it up, and you think he's going to go over the cliff or something just because of where the sled is, and he's at the end of the slope with the rocket, the jetpack lit up, and he turns around the opposite direction then, and he goes,
and then he lights up. Yeah.
It's just one of those cool scenes that as you're rewatching it when you get older and stuff.
Your expectations totally go out the window because you're thinking like, okay, he's going to go into the net, whether he's going, but it's like, nope, that's not what's happening here.
Yeah, and then
and just so while you're looking that up, I'd like to point out that it's interesting, and I think it's very well done how they introduce the main characters in this film, with Truly and Caractacus and the kids, and then the I guess father-in-law, grandpa-in-law, I might have lost grandpa, and we can see that the grandpa is very eccentric too, so it's that's probably where the son gets it from, but it's such a beautiful way they're doing it, and it's funny how they gel well together with the characters coming in and being introduced and how everything comes about, and I feel like in a way that's a good thing, but it's at the same time you realize like hopefully this wasn't too forced. Oh, well, he was 40. Okay, I was wondering about that.
Okay, I didn't know this about this movie either.
Oh wow, okay. Jeez. You got to suffer the pain for you got to suffer the pain for your art, that's how it is. That's kind of interesting. Yeah.
I feel blessed that we have Van Dyke still around to this day.
Yes, and oh, by the way, I'm pretty sure you
100
already
years
know.
old, I think.
Yes, 1 century old. Good God, it's like wow.
Mm-hmm. I saw that. That when I saw that, I'm like, wow.
Dang.
To still be able to look, even though he doesn't look it, even he's healthy as can be.
Yeah.
Well, he I've researched like how he's how he stays alive to that age. Like he exercises daily. Like let's just say Anubis playing racquetball every day or something like how you mentioned the other day, and then all this fun.
Mhm.
Yeah, I'm just but and then they beg basically they beg the kids beg dad to save the car also. And I love you mentioned the music. I mentioned the music before.
Mhm.
Now I want to go in for a second. I want to talk about the composing stuff because this is from two brothers, the Sherman brothers.
Okay.
I don't think they get talked about a lot nowadays, but they have a lot of interesting, fun musical scores. Whether it be Little Mermaid, I believe. Oh, sorry, Jungle Book. They did.
Okay.
They've done
Cartoon.
Bambi.
Yeah.
They did a lot of the early Disney movies, just to put reference into that in case.
No, that's the thing. I mean, see, and the funny thing is, I didn't really know. And that's kind of sad though. I don't know the composers or the songwriters for this film. I mean, I looked them up later on, but I was like, how's it that I didn't know who these people were who did the songs? You know, I mean, because Chitty Chitty Bang Bang is a very memorable song.
So
So,
okay,
go ahead.
so for Disney, The Parent Trap from '61.
Mm-hmm.
Mary Poppins, of course, from '64,
Mm-hmm.
Chitty Chitty Bang Bang. After this movie, they did Bed Knobs and Broomsticks from '68. Oh, wait,
No,
71.
Yeah.
71.
Mm-hmm.
They did The Sword and Stone, The Jungle Book, except the song The Bare Necessities they did not do. Charlotte's Web, Aristocats, Many Adventures of Winnie the Pooh, and then they've done a couple of theme park songs for Disney World and Disneyland and all those parks. They've done The Small World, and there's a Great Big Beautiful Tomorrow from my brain is what's World's Fair. Oh, hold on, it'll come back to me in a second.
Mm-hmm.
Carousel Progress.
Oh, okay.
Their work is legendary. They've done a lot of other stuff other than Disney also. They did a King Kong musical.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I'm looking this up one day and I'm like, what? I think it came out in.
Because actually, that's kind of. I mean, it had to be like what was it like the 60s or 70s, something like that.
Yeah,
That's what it sounded like it. Because I think that's the only time they would actually do They would actually do a musical of a Kong film. I mean,
Mighty Kong '98.
Okay, well, that sounds reasonable. Yeah, that's about it. Okay,
But back to the movie and stuff. I like how I like the candy scene where at home dad makes the candy for the first time, and Edison, who is the dog, I think this dog is adorable to me.
Yeah.
It's one of those really adorable dogs. I just fell in love with it. When you watch it, you can see it's an adorable dog. And the dog picks up the candy and he whistles with the candy for the first time. It's really cool. It's really fun. Grandpa, I remember during this scene also, Grandpa complained something about the wind upstairs in the house. It rains through the window. And he's like, "You haven't fixed the roof, so and so." But I like the fair. The fair to me is one of the cool parts of this film. I don't know. Do you want to talk about this scene, Jedi?
Yeah, you definitely talk about it. I mean, because this is the thing about this film. But then a lot of these musicals kind of do this. It's funny how the structure of the story is more around the songs and the musical itself. You know, I mean, it leads into one particular aspect of a song and dance, sequence to another, but it actually makes sense. It makes sense and it fits the narrative. So he goes because he failed at trying to sell the toot sweets, and at the scrumptious factory because of the dog situation. But he goes to the fair and he's trying to muster up money in order to buy the car, because he doesn't want to disappoint his kids. They believe in him, they feel for him, and they feel like say, Daddy, can you get this car? We don't want him to sell it to this, old, person and everything. So, yes, it's a yes. And it highlights Van Dyke's dancing skills, I gotta say. So he takes, like I say, he goes because he saw a traveling band going that way where the fair is, and he said, well, let me go see if I can use one of my inventions to muster up 30 shillings, which I'm not sure how that adds up, but he goes there. He kind of fails at doing what he's supposed to be doing, which is a made up hair cutter, and it jacks up one dude's really. Okay, well, he was a natural. Well, he's natural at it. I have to say, he's very natural. Some people. That's the thing, right? I'm gonna just say this too. Some people have a natural knack for certain things. Some people can sing pretty well and never had no experience. Some people can be good racers, never had no great experience. Some people, like I say, could be very good dancers, never had a teaching lesson in their life. And I think it's just inbuilt in them, Well, still, I mean, he was very good at it, because you see the steps that he does in that. I mean, he try to run away from the guy he jacked up the hair with. He's trying to hide from him, and then when he's on that stage with the other performers, he just blends in and just starts, doing the performance and everything. It's very natural, That's why I say Dick Van Dyke was very natural in his performance and how he performs, how he sings, and like I say, with those canes, where he's jumping like it's hopscotch in there. That's like, this is somebody. I'm just like, and to think that he didn't have no prior experience in doing that. I mean, that's talent. Well, I mean, hey, I say you got to take something what and put it into effect, and I think that's probably what it is, because dancing really, well, you think about it, dancing is nothing more than just moving your feet, and moving to a certain style and form or whatever, and then that's pretty much what it is. But some people are just very more good at it than others. Some people just dance, just to kind of get a flow or whatever, for what a particular
he agrees with you, the guy.
Yes. But other than that, some people have just a natural ability to do it, even if they don't have so-called proper training. Because I put it like this: anyone who knows martial arts, some would argue or someone would disagree with this, but I feel like it's in a sense a form of dance to a degree, because they, have to move their bodies a certain way to get into a certain stance or whatever. Dancing is nothing more than that. You have to get into a certain stance to actually move your body, get the kind of flow with it. And as I say, in this sequence, it's no different. I mean, he and the other performers do such an amazing job of what they do. They, they perform the heck out of what they're doing. And at the end, he gets the money that he needs in order to, buy the car that his kids want to buy, and I'm like, it's such an amazing moment because you realize, like, okay, he missed out on the opportunity with the candy factor, the candy man. We'll say the candy man. But then yeah, right. But then, like I say, once he gets another idea, because you see the pain in his face, like he doesn't want to disappoint his kids. His kids see him as a hero. They see him as like a shining, example of like anything's possible. And I feel like a father like him wants to make good on, you know, I want to show that my kids that anything's possible, that anything you dream can be possible. So this whole sequence of events, whether it be from the mishap at the candy factory, but to the affair, it's
That's such a good song.
It's yes, and right, and it just shows his will to say, I can't give up. I can't give up on my kids, because I love them. I want to show them that if you're that strong about something, if you're that tenacious about certain things, and I think that's the thing about it's a part of the theme of this movie, is that you don't stop dreaming, you don't stop, going for what you feel, and try to do, because you don't know what the aspect of it is, what's going to be the conclusion of it, but you make it happen, and when you do, it shows dreams can come true. And he managed to get the money, I think a lot more than what he expected to buy the car, if I'm not mistaken, too. And he managed to get the money for it, and he does get it taken back to his laboratory, and we see where he begins to work on it day and night. The kids want to watch it, but it's like, no, you got to let me do my thing, because I'm an inventor. I'm a person who loves to invent, to make things, but I'm going to put my heart and soul into this. And as we see, the result is quite amazing. It's something that you would not expect it to be, because I know when I saw this first time, I was like, what's it going to look like? What's it going to be? And when it comes out, it's like, it looks almost bigger than it was before. I mean, the chassis is still there, but it's really, well, it's true. It's true. The mad scientist always has to keep the stuff. That's very true, Silman. It is true. I mean, that's scientists are like that. They're trying to keep some things close to the vest. But no, going back to what I'm saying is that he makes the car come back to life, and as you find out too, this car, kind of like what Herbie the Love Bug is, might be sentient.
Great film.
The Love Bug, yes.
Mm-hmm.
I feel, and now that I think about it, because this film came out before the Love Bug did, this shows that this car has some kind of sentient vibe about it, because you saw it at the beginning where, well, not the beginning of the very, but where it was junk and everything, and that person who wants to buy it, you see all of a sudden the car kind of shudders, and it's like, is this thing alive? Is it aware of things? And then when you see it again, when it's all fixed up, it's like, it feels more alive than it ever was before, and you see why it's able to do the things that it does. I mean, sure enough, the inventor created, made it run again and everything, but it's more to it than it ever was before. It used to race, it used to do all these things, but now it's like, if you want to say, it's like a supercar almost,
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to talk. I mean, I could talk off, because this is your podcast, but I wanted to put that out there. The car does have some.
Anubis, you want to talk about the story now? About, like, you want to add on to what Jenna's saying?
Man, I don't know, man. Like, this movie was really tough for me. See, I don't really want to give my full thing till the end, but the story itself, like, I was really struggling to stick with it. And I think part of it's because it is really, really long. It's like every time I thought it'd be like almost over, it was like I had like another hour to go. I did find it interesting that they kind of split this up between what was going on in real life with his invention, with his car, and all that, and then they switched it over to like where he's telling this story to his kids on the beach, and they're envisioning this pirates and all this other stuff going on. Then it turns into this whole other story that's going on. So I do agree with the sense that Jedi said about the car kind of having its own mind of its own a little bit. It started doing these things with the flying or the boat when he's on the boat, and it's like it's got that whole like James Bond effect going there, where the car can do many different things, and I think that's a lot of Fleming's influence with the way that the car is in this story. So makes a lot of sense.
Yes, but that's I have to say though. I mean, yeah, and I gotta agree with your news about that. It's like I didn't know this film was as long as it was, because I was like, back when you see it as a kid, it's like you don't think about the time constraints, but when you see it as an adult, it's like, damn, is that long? I mean, it's like, good Lord. I mean, this movie is like 2.5 hours.
Especially for a musical, because I don't know. I guess for me, like I've never been a huge musical kind of guy, but the ones that I had seen, like I never remembered them being quite as long. Like think of like Willy Wonka. Like that's not a super long film, but it has like musical numbers in it. This one, like, I guess again, it has that Fleming influence, because James Bond films in the early days were very much 2 to 2.5 hours long.
Yeah, I mean yeah.
And then this.
It's still better than some of the Chinese movies that you'll find that are 4 and 5 hours long.
Well, I mean, it depends on what films you're talking about, because I have seen some films that are Chinese that.
Well, I mean, if you're comparing it to Gandhi, I think Gandhi, the original cut of Gandhi, is like 65 hours.
Oh God. Okay.
Yeah. So I mean, yeah, sure, but even then, like, it's not like.
I get it. There's more to what he's back. He's talking back in the day, I think.
Well, yeah, I mean that's exactly what he's talking about, because they did.
Well, I don't even know what the average movie going time was. Like, I don't think 2.5 hours was it, but
no,
again, I think this is where the Fleming influence comes in, because the James Bond films were, but the difference is, for me at least, with James Bond, is like maybe it's just because the topic and the subject matter is a little bit more interesting than this was for me. But I mean, I get the point that everybody wants to get their money's worth, and nowadays people complain about that. If you have like an hour, like a Marvel movie that's 2.5 hours, people complain it's too long.
Yeah.
And then you have people like Neko, my wife. She doesn't like Lord of the Rings. I think they're great. I think they're perfect for the amount of time that they are.
Yes.
But it all depends on the person and the subject matter. But I mean, I do agree with Simon here. How's his name? Slimmin? Is that how you pronounce it? Mm-hmm. I do agree with him here that back in the day, we didn't have a lot of the other technology to distract us. So the movie-going experience was a lot better. You even saw it in this film where you actually have an intermission. There's actually an intermission that happens.
Oh, okay. I see what he's saying. He's talking about this movie.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I ever sat through a Lawrence of Arabia, so I don't know.
And I can...
Slim to the NIM. Okay. Slim to the NIM. Gotcha.
Let's just say Lawrence of Arabia. And you know what? I'll answer your question, was the average speed, especially if it's a long picture, they usually ran a little over 4 hours back then, usually. But that was, as you mentioned, they didn't have a lot of distraction. You're focusing on character developments and everything, as opposed to now it's like, oh, you got the spectacle, but you still have hopefully good character-driven films like The Lord of the Rings. Lord of the Rings are average 2 hours, well, literally 3 hours, the longest being The Return of the King. And
right.
But you don't think, but like the thing, you don't think about the time. You just look at it like, this is a well-structured story that has great characters, but great effects. But you don't think of them as distraction. You just think of them as something that catches your attention as far as where's this story going. That's what you're looking at. You're not looking at the time, because I know when I watched the last one, Return of the King, the only reason why I wanted it to end because I had to go to the restroom really bad. I was like, how many endings is to this damn thing, But the thing about
that's how Neko was. Like, she's like, wait a minute, it's not over yet. I said, not yet.
but that's the thing. It's all about the film.
Jedi mind reader.
Yep. Yes. So no, but
you have no power here.
Yeah, it's like, these are not the joys you're looking for. But you get what I'm saying, though. It's like those are the things that, and you just say, I think because this was Fleming and a Albert Broccoli production, they definitely wanted to make it where it wasn't going to be 3 or 4 fucking hours long, because from what I've heard, that's based on Fleming's book, it's like it had a lot more stuff in there, and it's like we're not going to spend all this time on this when we're doing Bond films, like, and they're not even almost 2 hours long. Some of them a little over 2 hours long, but we're not going there. We're not going to do that, So
I like how they have. It's kind of a cool scene at the beginning when they first have the car after he buys the car, because they're at the picnic and it's just a nice, beautiful scenery and stuff with the music, and they have a pleasant at the beach. That's where the story comes. Yes. Then we're introduced to, I guess, our villain in Baron Bombburst. I guess you could call him a villain. I don't know. Anti-villain, maybe.
Yes. But this is the thing, I swear I really could say this is the part of the film where it really kind of disappoints me a lot, because even though I know we've had some good things up until then, when you find out, and I'm just going to put it out there now, when you find out that all this from where we were introduced to the Baron and whatever, you find out all that is a damn dream sequence or a story told by Van Dyke's character. I was like, what?
Yeah.
All that was I was like, no, you mean to tell me with a complete ride and it was nothing there. It was all false.
It's kind of like how you say it. The story kind of went that way.
Yeah. I mean, I don't get me wrong. I'd still love, some of the musical aspects of it during that time. But it's like, that was all just a story. It's like, you mean to tell me we're telling a story within a story, and it's like, you mean to tell me you just robbed me of this little bit of going on? I was like, wow, really?
In the water, I like this part. Chitty, it turns like into a boat basically, and just boats away past Bombburst and his crew. We're on a ship in the sea, just out in the sea. Just they fired a gun, and they take Truly home. Apparently,
yeah.
All good. And the Baron,
No, as you were saying, the Baron.
The Baron sends spies after the car because they want the car for themselves.
Gotta have that car.
And
what was like his friend on the boat, like his ship, like that dude looked like a mini fucking Napoleon.
Yeah. But this is where the moment where the movie turns in from just a simple, trying to get the car to let's just say it. It is complete Looney Tunes cartoon at the second half. That's what I mean. And I don't have no beef with that being in a cartoon, but it's like we're really going there, and the fact that it's not, it's like and then you realize this is the reason why you got a character like the children snatcher. What is his name? The guy who plays the
Child
kidnapper.
snatcher.
It's like he is so I don't mean to
Child catcher.
I don't want to put the pun out there, but he's so on the nose because of his nose. You know, kidnapping kids. I'm just like, wow, that's too much on
Child catcher. That's
yeah,
his name.
and I'm just like that. That's why I say the rest of the half of the film is basically a Looney Tunes cartoon aspect, because the spies that he sends to try to find the inventor, the car, and everything, they do these wacky kind of coyote type Roadrunner moments. I'm just like, we're doing this, you know. I mean, I get it. It's supposed to be a family oriented film, and it's kind of semi serious, but I'm like, you're kind of see this, and I feel this is for the kids. I feel this. Yeah, I feel this is more for kids, and I think this is why for myself, when I saw it the first time, I didn't see it that way. As an adult, totally different aspect, because it's like, I'm like, okay, you're losing me right now. You know, you're kind of losing me with this. You know, I mean, I'll go so far as to say, I'll take Looney Tunes anytime in a film, like in something like Who Framed Roger Rabbit or something like that. But the second you put it into something like this,
by the way,
and throw it off kilter, it's like, where are we going with this? What are we doing now? Okay. And I guess maybe, and now that I think about it, maybe because this whole sequence at the end is being stolen in Tori's storytelling, it's totally fiction. Maybe that's the reason why everything is so cartoony, so stropey in terms of what we're being doing, you know, because that moment where the guy set dynamite to blow up the bridge, you know, as the car Chitty Chitty goes over the bridge and it blows up in their face, not the bridge. It's like, wow, we're doing this. This is Warner Brothers type stuff right here, you know. I just like, okay, I get it. I guess this is for the kids, this is for children, but I'm like, why are the adults got to suffer through this, you know? So
Well, that was designed to be, that type of movie was designed to be like a family movie, so that's pretty much why.
the spies they capture Truly's father instead, and they go into oh boy. Oh. Okay.
Yeah, they capture yeah. Well, yeah.
But the they capture the spy. They capture
the father,
and it actually, so they get the wrong person.
Yes. Yeah, they get the wrong person because they try to capture. See, that's the thing. They screwed up twice. They try to capture the car, but something happens where the father of Truly, you know, they go into the trap, and the father actually gets away. So they take that car and they use it to go to the inventor's house, the Pot's house, and they capture the grandpa. And I have to say, and this is a moment where I have to say I actually kind of enjoyed this moment when they do capture the grandpa, where they balloon him up, airship him out, and he does his song and dance. Well, when you say limited song, it's limited dance, but he does his song where he's talking about Yes, I mean, I actually like that performance. I actually like that song, believe it or not. And but you see that they take him because they think he's the inventor of the car. So they feel like, well, they're going to take him, get him out, and take him back to where the Baron is, And it's just so crazy because it's like it's so many mishaps after mishaps after mishaps, and you're just like, what is going on here? You're just like, I don't get this. But it's fun for what it is. But I mean, it's still like Yeah, it's kind of going places, and it's going all over the place too. If you think about it,
And as the movie continues,
Mhm.
the Cracticus and everybody is into they're going after Grandpa because they see his little outhouse,
Yeah.
and when they go after him and stuff, they go forward and off a cliff.
Yes.
And this is one of those rare movies where you see intermission. That's one thing that is not used anymore. I noticed in movies,
Mhm.
Nope.
it's like non-existent.
Yeah, they used to do that a lot. In fact, I think they used to do that between the 40s and late to early 70s. I'm sorry, early 70s, because they did it because films were that long. But the thing about this is, this film, even though it's 2.5 hours long, it wasn't even really necessary to have that. It wasn't necessary to have that intermission. But I feel because it's a musical, that's probably why it was used for that. I mean, they cut from there, and then when we cut back, cut back to that moment, we see that the Chitty Chitty is starting to grow wings, has a propeller, and learns
And
how
fly.
to fly. You know.
Um,
Go ahead.
they chase Grandpa, who's captured by bomb burst, and they take him to Bulgaria. And when they arrive in Bulgaria, Grandpa is ordered to make a floating car.
Mhm.
And that attempt fails. And when the party arrives, the children are outlawed in Bulgaria. And Bomber's wife doesn't like children, so she's disgusted by them.
Hmm.
So the toy maker, played by Benny Hill, he hides Crash's group in his shop. They disguise themselves as Jack in the boxes
Back in the boxes,
to
yeah.
hide in sight from Bomber's child catcher. Bomber's crew discovers Chitty and is taken to the castle, while Cracticus and the toy maker search for Grandpa. And Truly searches for food. The child catcher. Oh, cool.
Mm-hmm.
That's where I watched it, was Pluto.
Okay, so they've got it on Tubi now and other stuff.
I saw it on YouTube, actually, believe it or not. That's
but
good.
Chitty is discovered, taken to the castle. Crackus and the toy maker search for Grandpa. Truly searches for food. The child catcher returns and traps Jeremy and Jemima.
Yeah.
How
does he catch them, though? That's the thing. How does he catch them?
He nets them with candy?
No, he catches them because someone is too weak-minded not to realize that's a trap. When he says, I have ice cream, I have candy, and I'm just like, boy, what are you doing? Don't you realize you're in danger? Is your stranger danger not working right now?
Mm-hmm.
Stranger danger.
The toy maker, The toy maker takes Caractacus and Truly to a grotto beneath the castle, where the children are hiding, and Caractacus concocts a scheme to free Bulgaria from the tyranny of the bomb burst. The next day, the toy maker, during bomb burst's birthday, the toy maker sneaks Caractacus Truly into the castle, disguised as dolls, lifelike dolls that they sing and dance. At Caractacus' signal, the Bulgarian children swarm the banquet hall. overcome Von Burst's guest and capture the Baron, Baroness, and child catcher. The Vulgarian adults storm the castle while Caractacus, Truly, and the Toymaker free Jemima and Jeremy. The group joins the fight against Von Burst's soldiers. Chitty comes to their aid and Grandpa is rescued. They fly back to England away from all this evil, and that's where the story for that dream like thing, whatever, ends. And the children ask Truly ask Caractacus if he's going to marry Truly, basically.
Yeah, because they say if you kiss her, you have to marry her.
Yeah.
You know?
He tries to apologize for his children when he drops Truly off at her manor, saying that the difference in their social status would make a relationship between the ridiculous.
You want me to get him?
They offend Truly.
Just gonna walk in.
We have a special additional guest here, I think. Or do we? Yes, but but you see that the reason why he does that because he doesn't feel like he's.
Does she need the link?
She got it.
Okay.
Look, I'm backstage.
Hey.
Hi. Hey there. Oh, sorry, I took a nap.
All good.
How do I make it bigger? There we go.
Yeah.
So yeah, I took a nap. We went to lunch, and it was really delicious. And then I fell asleep for 3 hours. But all right, where are we?
We're towards the end of the movie. Where Truly, okay. Caractacus' surprise encounter. Lord Scrumptious, revealed to have been Grandpa's Potts' former brigadier. Lord Scrumptious offers to buy Caractacus' failed candies and market them to the public as dog treats. That's funny. Overjoyed that he has finally made a successful invention, Caractacus rushes off to tell Truly. Her house staff has already told her the news. She meets him halfway. They confess their love for each other as they return home. Chitty flies up into the sky once again, this time without wings. So it's like, how?
Because he's a magical. It's a magical car.
Yes.
So
I want to get your overall, like your thoughts on the story and stuff before we put review score. Since I'm new here. No, you're not new, but
I honestly I feel like I know I've seen it before, but I didn't remember it. And then I watched it and I'm like, this is why I didn't remember it. I think you're either like a Mary Poppins or a Chitty Chitty Bang Bang person. And I was always a Mary Poppins person. And one of the reasons that Julie Andrews actually turned down the movie was because she thought it was way too similar to Mary Poppins. Because it's Chitty Chitty Bang Bang is a children's book that Ian Fleming wrote. So it wasn't really meant to be this big musical. I don't know about Mary Poppins either, but I think they just said, okay, we got Dick Van Dyke, let's get Julie Andrews. And she's like, no, this is way too similar to Mary Poppins. I'm going to turn it down. And I think that's what happens. It's there's a lot of things that I think that you need to see as a kid, and Chitty Chitty Bang Bang is one of them. And I'm pretty sure, like I said, I saw it, but it didn't make much of an impact on me. But Mary Poppins, for some reason, made a big impact on me. Similar types. It's a kid's story. Similar types of things. You have the two kids in Mary Poppins. You got the kids in Chitty Chitty Bang Bang. Dick Van Dyke is doing the magical dream sequences and all the dancing. And I don't know. I really didn't even finish watching it. I was like, yeah, I'm good. I'm good. I didn't hate it, but it's definitely meant for a kid. So it felt like for me watching it, it would be like turning on I don't know, Bluey or any of those kids shows nowadays. Cause I'm like, it's all right. I appreciate for what it is and the story. Ian Fleming was convalescing when he was writing the book. So just knowing that he was kind of, before he passed, it was right before he died. He died before the book was even published, and it was like 3 volumes. So like they published it and they illustrated the first 2 volumes in the UK, but then in the US, all 3 volumes got published as one book. And then they even went on to have like comic books and comic strips of it. So it was very, very successful for like a children's book, especially back in the 60s. That's why it ended up being a successful movie. But like overall, it's meant for kids, and I know that's why like I just didn't get. I was like, sorry. And I know
I don't even know if it was that successful. I mean, at least according to this, like I said, it cost them close to 10 to 12 million to make, but only grossed like 7.5 in the box office.
Oh wow! So and it could have been the same like thing where people are like, this is similar to Mary Poppins. Like maybe whoever directed and wrote the screenplay, they just thought they could just shove Dick Van Dyke into it and it was going to be a huge success the way that Mary Poppins was. That's probably part of it.
Well, that always makes sense. I mean,
he was huge.
Even now, it's how it kind of works. Yeah, it's like you get these actors. Like we sit there and say, oh my God, Pedro Pascal again. But that's what happens. They just end up inserting these actors that start getting some attention, think, oh yeah, we're just going to keep throwing this guy out there until they finally fade away.
I just think the most distracting thing for me was Dick Van Dyke desperate to try and sound like a British guy. Like a couple of times he tried, but you'd hear his little fake British accent every now and then other times he would just be like, oh, I'm just going to talk like regular Dick Van Dyke. And so that was a little crazy and distracting for me. But again, this is a kid's movie. It's a kid's movie. Like, it's okay. It wasn't meant for me. It was, I bet you if you put this on for a kid now and they're like, oh, look at this crazy car. And oh, look, it floats on water. And oh, it's a submarine. Like, it's meant for, young imaginations.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's very true.
So yeah, that's really my overall opinion. I did not hate it. I did not love it. And I think you're going to love it if you're 5. And I don't remember I'm pretty sure I watched it when I was little.
Alvin said he saw it when he was young. So,
exactly.
But I mean,
I was about 5 years old when I first saw it.
Mm-hmm. And that's part of it. You get that nostalgia, for it. There's lots of things that I saw. I'll give you a perfect example. I saw the Goonies when I was a kid, and Anubis never saw the Goonies. So then when he finally watched the Goonies, he was like, sorry. And I just had such, I remember being 9-10 years old, seeing the Goonies and thinking, oh, we're going on an adventure for One-Eyed Willie. This is so great in the imagination.
Yeah.
It's not meant for you to see it for the first time when you're an adult. You don't really get that kind of
I don't understand.
He's like, it's just, what is it? They're just, what is this? But it's a kid's movie. That's why. It's a kid's movie. You don't really kind of connect with it the way that you would connect with the movie when you're a kid, and that's why. It's not so for what it's worth, Chitty Chitty Bang Bang is a great children's movie, but for me,
Yeah.
Do we want to go for review scores for this movie?
Sure.
Or do we want to, or is there more you think that we should talk about this movie?
The Last Jedi, I still have
you.
I'll just put my 2 cents on that. What Neko was saying, the simple fact is that that's the incredible thing.
Oh, that's true. Okay. Yeah, I had a vehicle without power steering, so I remember that.
That's true.
Go ahead and say what you were saying, Jen.
No. Just to add this little 2 cents about what that. It's that same thing, because that same premise. I saw this film when I was a young lad, and like I say, as I was telling Nubis and Olin, I was like, I love this as a kid, but when you look at it as an adult, you realize okay, why is this going? See, and this was a thing I didn't notice before when because it's as they say, it's meant for children. It's meant for
Mm-hmm.
you see the cartoon aspect at the end of it. I'm just like, why is this such a Looney Tunes moment here? It's like, that's not what I paid to go and watch. I'm not here for that. I mean, yes, I don't mind a silliness, but it's too over the top. I mean, that moment where, as I was telling Lou, was it was like when they try to blow the bridge up and it blows up when they detonate. I was like, in their face, I was like, this is such a cartoon. Why is this going there? You know, but I realized that's exactly what they're doing. It's nothing more than a,
It's a kids movie.
kids movie. And the funny thing is,
I saw like Pete's Dragon when I was really young. So if I watched it now, I probably wouldn't feel the same as I did then, like in terms of like enjoyment. And I think that's kind of like the same with Popeye with Robin Williams. Like, so
yes,
that movie was very, Looney Tune-ish and how it was presented. And
I don't know why with Popeye, but it's one of the movies that's never interested me to check out.
It may not resonate.
Acting-wise, it was great. Like, I mean,
it's nothing that
at the time it was interesting because of you were taking a cartoon and bringing it to life. But I guess for me, I don't know. I don't know how I really would have approached it because, like, when I saw it, I was kind of like, okay, well, I see what they're doing, but I don't know if I quite got the enjoyment out of it that I really wanted to. But I see, like, why they did it that way.
I started doing a little bit of a deep dive into Dick Van Dyke while we were watching Chitty Chitty Bang Bang. And there was this one movie that I have to see if I can find. And I think it is streaming on YouTube for free. It's called The Comic. And basically, it's a little bit more serious of a movie, even though it's about a comic. It's about loosely based off of Buster Keaton, the silent film comedian.
I just found it on YouTube.
Yeah. So I want to check that out but then some of the people who are critics of Dick Van Dyke say he's very one note. Like he's like everything he does is very similar, his acting style in every movie, and people compared the comic, said that the acting was very similar to like his Dick Van Dyke show, which I've always enjoyed. So it might be something that I would like to check out one time. Is called The Comic. Maybe not for Silver Screen Savants, just like personally to see it because I've never heard of it.
It's up to me and Nubis if he wants to cover that or not.
What?
Also,
The Comic. The one I was talking about last night that seems like a little bit more darker of a movie for Dick Van Dyke. I mean, it's still
not at the moment.
He said nah.
I'll have to watch it, he said, right?
Huh?
Said you'd have to watch it to see.
Well, I'd have to watch it. I don't know if I want to cover it right away.
No, I know.
Too much Dick Van Dyke.
Yeah,
Go ahead, what you're saying, Neko, if you're priest.
So what's your score, Jedi?
Okay.
oh, the joy.
Segue.
I got lost in translation thinking about that. Well, I mean, like I say, it's still a childhood favorite of mine. I mean, it's like I say, but I mean, it's a totally different aspect of it now because I'm a older man. God, I'm just getting old. I can honestly say this movie it's like an 8. It's like an 8, for me, only because it does give me that childhood nostalgic vibe, and then every time I hear that song, "Chitty Chitty Bang Bang," I mean, it just triggers something in me in my youth.
Yeah.
I think that's the only thing. But knowing that this film is basically for kids, it makes me realize, like, well, that child in me, yeah, he kind of grew up, but I wish he could be there now because this film is not for me as an adult. It's just not. I mean, and anyone who is an adult who saw this as a kid, you get what I'm talking about. So, yeah, give it that.
Go ahead, Neko.
It's hard for me because I feel like my score is unfair because I did not see it as a kid. And I didn't you know, I always liked Mary Poppins. So if we were watching Mary Poppins, that's how I would feel about Mary Poppins. I know all the songs from Mary Poppins, and I don't remember anything from Chitty Chitty Bang Bang. So I feel, but I'm gonna have to say it's like maybe like a 6. Sorry, Chitty Bang Bang.
Yes. You. I'm sorry because you're saying something that a friend of mine actually says. It's chitty chitty, but he says shitty shitty. You know, like it's I mean, that's. I'm sorry. It's just.
Oh, I just noticed this comment about what you said, Neko.
I probably have to check it out then.
There's nothing up there on that wall that you need.
Hazel,
Am I up?
are you up?
Yeah. So, yeah, the problem for me is I'm not the biggest musical fan as it is. So whenever I do see a musical number, it really has to resonate with me in some way. Plus, the fact that this movie is like massively long doesn't help.
Oh God, that I forgot.
It just does not help.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's not horribly produced. Ian Fleming's pretty good at writing, so I'm not really bashing any of that. The acting is fine. I don't have any problem with that either. Song choice, like you guys really enjoy the music. I do not. Like, sort of like what Neko gets at. I haven't seen Mary Poppins in many years, but I told her last night I remember like
Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious.
So the fact that something like that still stick in my head this long after I've seen it many years ago tells me that at least with that I resonated with me on some level. It's again, I don't like the bash or anything because it's not really about bashing the film. It's just it's not my type of film. So I'm gonna give it a 5 out of 10 because it's just not something I find myself rewatching. But
even as a kid, you didn't like the musical type shows.
But like I said, Willy Wonka was one thing, but that resonated for some reason. Like maybe it's because it had more humor that I could identify with, or Young Frankenstein, stuff like that. Like I
love
get
Young
it.
Frankenstein.
But this type of
something I gotta check out sometime.
Yeah, you do.
Oh, it's Young Frankenstein. It's so funny.
Mm-hmm.
But nonetheless.
Oh, God.
But yeah, so this just isn't one of those films that really resonate with me as much as like even if I went back and watched Mary Poppins, I still kind of get into it more because I remember more from it.
Chim chimmery, chim chim chimmery.
See, when you started saying it's like, oh yes, this is taking me back.
Taking me back being a kid.
Yes.
That's why I'm saying I must not have seen Chitty Chitty Bang Bang as a kid, or maybe just a little bit. Because if I would have, it would be stuck up here in my brain. And when I heard the songs, I would be like, oh, I remember my grandma.
Oh.
So what is it? You gotta see it, Alvin. It's so fun. Mel Brooks is like a genius.
There's only one movie I've seen with Mel Brooks so far, and that's Robots. Have you ever seen that animated? It's an animated movie. It's Ewan McGregor's in it, and
what's the Western one? We need to do that one.
The Blazing Saddles. Oh yes,
Blazing
God.
Where are the white women at?
Yeah.
Oh my God! Yes. Yes, dude. That's
History of the Earth. Somebody put that in.
Well, history of the
History, right.
That's okay. It's not that great.
It's no Blazing Saddles.
No, by no except I know.
Do you see the comment?
Oh man, yeah, we should do a Mel Brooks-a-thon. Oh my God.
Dude.
Anyway, sorry.
Robots had a pretty good cast actually for a Mel Brooks movie. He's older in it, but his voice sounds it sounds a little bit gravelly, and it's a fun. It's a PG, I think, movie. It's pretty good actually. It's worth watching once at least to check out. If you know,
I watch all of Mel Brooks's stuff pretty much. I'm trying to think of. I haven't.
I think that's an animated film, right? Robots.
Yes.
I know you're talking about. I've seen that.
What is the rating on Blazing Saddles?
R.
Rating.
Is it rated R?
It should be.
It should be rated R, but like you got to think the ratings back then were a little bit different.
True.
And
Robots came out in 2005, by the way.
Yeah.
2005 Robots.
It's PG.
Yeah, I've never seen it.
It had Robin
Men in
Williams
Tights.
in it.
Yeah, men in yes.
Oh,
We're men in
yeah,
tights.
Baseballs.
Yes.
Okay.
And he was Rabbi Tuckman.
Yes. Dude, that oh god.
So my score is an 8 out of 10. Also, like Jedi, I have to agree with Jedi. I just, it's aged to that point nowadays where I feel like it to the young kids still that have never seen it, go watch it, go check it out, must watch. I
You
highly
must be a
recommend.
child to watch it, to enjoy it. If you watch it as an adult, it's going
How
to be
much?
a
How
little
much do you remember from that age, Olin, of watching that? Because I'm wondering how you even sat still for 2.5 hours for that.
You got me. I don't even think I watched the whole thing when I was. And then
You probably just
and
saw some clips and enjoyed what
and
you
then
saw.
also, I don't know if you know this, but AMC or one of those channels, sometimes they air it. Or what's the one that has the Godzilla movies in? It's Turner Classic Movies. I think sometimes it airs this movie on there also. But
Yeah.
to me, this movie is an 8 out of 10 also.
Okay.
Do we want to go through upcoming content?
Sure. Let's let Jedi go first.
Okay. Coming next week, I got something coming up with Kevin Lambert, where we're going to be discussing on the his education talks on his channel, where I'm going to be educating him on something that is good in this film: special effects, whether it be physical, digital, or anything of that particular nature. I am pretty much, I ain't gonna say expert, but I'm very knowledgeable of this because I love special effects in films. Also coming that Saturday, coming up, me and Mr. DJ Anubis will be discussing a subject that I feel is kind of overlooked, but it needs to be talked about. That's talking about female werewolves in modern media, because it's something that I feel doesn't get as much talk as so-called male werewolves, like in the American Werewolf in London or in Underworld, something like that. I feel that we need to discuss because they are there. Look, we give it to the brothers, give something to the sisters too. They have to be discussed also, So
You got me interested enough that I might have to,
it's going to be a recording most likely. Because it's a subject that I feel is just between me and him. Yeah,
he wants.
Yeah, Kevin's on a different time zone, so
in the chat, and the one guy wants to check out your channels.
Oh, okay.
In the chat.
Slimming
Slimming wants to.
Cinnamon. I'm allergic to cinnamon.
It's a bit. But after that, the next following Saturday is I'm going to be discussing all the Mission Impossible film series, because I feel like that's been a very decent collab of films that Tom Cruise. I mean, I never imagined that this film series was going to be this long. I mean, it's been almost 30 years since the first one came out. I'm just like, geez, how is that possible? He did these films almost 30 years ago, and he damn near looks the same now in his 60s. It's like, what the hell?
Scientology.
Yeah.
Okay, so he's been Aliens pretty much gave him the youth juice. Okay, makes sense. But other than that, that's what's coming up in my future
and then
way of doing things.
I think you got something the 21st.
Well, yeah, I'm going. Well, I am going to be doing. I don't want to give too much away, but yeah, in fact, I do want to give. No, let me mention this. I am going to be doing my 50th anniversary talk on the famous Steven Spielberg classic Jaws. I feel that is turning 50 this next month, and that's going to be. Yes, I got to talk about that. That's definitely going to be something I feel needs to be
it's supposed to be re-released in theaters. I'm gonna have to look around to see if we can find one near us, because
I didn't do it for very long, but yeah, they're gonna put it back.
I mean, it came out in the 50 years ago.
75.
I never got to see it in a theater. He got to see it in the theater, and it gave him
I
nightmares.
don't think I ever saw it in theater either.
Yeah, they had
So
Well, hopefully, if they do show it, they put it in a correct aspect ratio. Because when I went to go see the 40th anniversary of the thing of John Carpenter's The Thing, it was in 1.85 ratio. I was like, do y'all not know that people like me recognize these little details? Y'all screwed up my head.
on that
Thanks, Charles.
nice.
So, but hopefully,
It's in my
old
eyes.
school.
yeah, I keep
recording.
seeing that back there. It's like, yes, he's got.
That's the game. He bought the 50th
I
anniversary.
got a diorama right by it with the orca too. So
So he remembered having that game when he was
yeah, the original game looked like ass. I mean, it was pretty cheesy, but they re-released it. It looks more like the actual shark now.
That's interesting what he said. Go ahead, Jedi. Do you have another? Didn't you have something else after
No,
that?
that's it for right now. I don't want to give up too much.
Okay.
I figure that's enough for right now because that's next month, and like I say, I'm going to be actually pretty busy next month on my channel.
awesome.
Yes.
And I'm sure if we do Savants next Saturday, I'm sure you'll be on that also. If what Anubis is picked. And speaking of Anubis, go ahead and do your stuff.
Yes, so Monday, I'm going to have a couple things I'm doing. My Lone Wolf with Dub series that I do. I'm going to be doing the Sword Stained with Royal Blood review. So I'll be doing that. Then with my tarantula collection, I'm going to be my species spotlight. I'm focusing on the Costa Rican stripe knee, my Cruella, my spider that I have. So I'll be focusing on that species for that.
Creepy.
Tuesday was supposed to be on Samurai's channel for his action film Autopsy with author Rick Myers, but I'm going to be hosting that now since Samurai has got some things, personal things that's come up. So I'm doing that on my channel. So Rick Myers will break down all the TV series he's watched this month and movies. One of them being, what was it? It was Thunderbolt. He finally got around to see. I've already seen that one, but he's got a bunch of stuff from like Haya and Netflix and stuff that he's watched. He's going to talk about a little bit, and he's pretty good at doing that. Wednesday, the Ghouls of Midnight series that I do with Mr. Tony is Dead. I'm doing my pick first, which is The Witchmaker from 1969, which I'll be reviewing it, and he's doing a film after that, which we'll announce then. Saturday, Silver Screen Savants with Olven. My pick will be 1989's Next of Kin with Patrick Swayze and Liam Neeson. And then Sunday, I'm kicking off my new series called What If? And I've got actually, I hope that Jedi can make that. I have Daniel, Anthony, Tony, and Thrash Pondo in the queue for that panel. We're going to be tackling what if scenarios with the Scream franchise. So I wanted to kind of like play off a little bit of what Marvel's doing, but only with my own version of what if. And then Wednesday, I'm getting together with Kevin Lambert from the Entertainment Headquarters for my Cinematic Synergy series, and we're going to be doing 2006 The Illusionist. So that's pretty much what I got coming up with all that.
Okay, I got a good amount. So we have exciting news, and we have a new show coming to the channel. I told you on Messenger that about the show that I wanted to run with, and I'm now telling you all. So I messaged Gojira851 about this show, also about this idea. Also, we're going to do a show talking about comic books. So we're going to be covering like Marvel characters, DC. I think what we should do with it is we should go into the lore, the issues, recommended issues that somebody should check out, like the backgrounds, the characters, the villains, the roster, just for example, let's just use Justice League as an example because they've got so many villains. You could go one episode, you cover X amount of villains in that, and then one episode, you cover X
Hey,
X amount in that. And then So the name of the show is called Uncovering Comics because I just feel like it catches on. And I don't know if he wants to do this, but I would like to do the first episode over a character that you guys have mentioned to me before and the Max as the first episode. A character I have you guys that when I heard it the first time from you guys, I'm like, wow, I have never heard of this character. This character interests me enough to do a episode over this character. I don't know if Gojira 851 would be up for that, but I would definitely be up for that doing the first episode over somebody unknown to me. With that stuff. I am planning to do a tribute for Gears of War because it is turning 20 years old.
Wow.
Tomorrow in June, it turns 20 years old. It's a fun game franchise. It's a war game franchise. I also am thinking of streaming Indiana Jones. I started playing that the other day, and that has been a blast playing that.
It's a game?
Yes, it's a new game. It's called Indiana Jones and the Great Circle. It just came out last year on computer and Xbox, I think. Or it came out this year earlier. I can't remember. But it's been loads of fun. It sounds like Harrison Ford, everything that actor that plays Indy and stuff like that. I do know for a fact we have on Thursday, we have Son of Godzilla. We are covering that movie. The first appearance of Manila. Godzilla. And I know it's me, Geek, Alzella, and maybe Gojira 851 jumps on that one because he said that's like his favorite Godzilla movie. He said that before. So that'll be live on Tokusatsu Action Land. And then we also should have Silver Screen Savants on Saturday. And Next of Kin is his choice. I'm thinking of doing, for my next choice, I'm thinking of going back to Bond and doing The Living Daylights. Possibly.
Good pick.
Or On Her Majesty's Secret Service is another option that I've...
I always love Bond. You know me.
Oh no, Bond is, yes.
He's very, very handsome British man.
I'm not crazy about The Living Daylights, but that's me.
I don't think I've ever seen The Living Daylights. Which one's that one?
It's Timothy Dalton.
Yeah.
Yes, I love Timothy Dalton as Bond for some reason. I
Very good, very underrated.
he's like a darker Bond. Like,
Oh, yes, he's very dark in that one. Life and feel.
As for the other show that I was working on, I might have to do I have to still finish the intro, all that outro for. I gotta find a co-host because that's one. I mean, maybe I could do it with Jedi if he's down for doing a show on some other night or whatever. But I mean, it's whatever your availability is and stuff.
Yeah, it depends on my schedule because, like I say, and especially coming up, I'm gonna be working summer hours, so it varies.
And I know you got your vacation next month also, so that's gonna.
Yes, coming in. Yeah, I might as well say it now. Coming in July, me, Kevin Lambert, and hopefully Sci-Fi Century. We're going to San Diego. My first time and Kevin's first time going out there, but it's not going to be Sci-Fi's first time. But yes, everything first for me when it comes to seeing the ocean. So.
You've never seen the ocean before?
I've never seen the ocean ever.
Oh God, I saw so much ocean sailing when I was sailing. It's like, there's the ocean, all day, every day.
So
but my biggest regret, because my very first job when I was sailing I left out of San Diego. So
Mhm.
that was my first time going to San Diego, and it was really cool. But my biggest regret is I did not go to the zoo. So if you guys have time,
I've been
go
there
to the
once.
zoo. I was told it's like a full day thing. It's like great.
Yes.
Well, I walked everywhere.
Hopefully we get to do that, but I definitely want to do something that Kevin mentioned, which is seeing whales in the bay. So I definitely want to do that. But yeah, I mean, we're going to be there for a little over a week, so hopefully we'll have the time to do that, which I think we will, though. Yes.
Yeah, they say it's like an experience to see the zoo, and I was in port, but I still was working, so I couldn't take a full day and go exploring. And it was my first job on the ship, so I was too afraid to go fuck off like everybody else is. Like, oh,
right, that would have been me. It's like, I don't want to fuck this up.
It was my first job. I don't want to. But everybody, anyway, I could do a whole series on every time I went to port, and you guys would blush the shit that happened.
I was gonna say, I also know for a fact in August, me and Gojira 851 will be playing Gears of War is coming out remastered and stuff. The first game.
Oh, really?
Reloaded. Gears of War Reloaded is the name of it. Oh,
yes.
And
Gears of War Reloaded.
And we will be playing that on stream together.
That'd be interesting.
I don't know if you remember.
I'm actually going to go back and replay the end of Expedition 33 because even though I finished that off screen because I didn't really know how it would play out, so I'm going to try to do that on screen.
He loved Expedition 33.
Really?
It's a fantastic game.
Remember, so I don't know if you remember this or not, Scott, or sorry, I'm doxing him a lot today, Anubis. Big O and Dukes.
Big I say it all.
Big O and Dukes, when I had my red neon, I had that Big O and Dukes sticker, and that was the Gears of War Big O and Dukes sticker, and they got a cease and desist for using that. It was one of my favorite shows ever, podcasts and a radio show, Big O and Dukes, and now Chad Dukes is by himself. He does YouTube.
This is how big I am, like a Gears kind of.
Yeah, it was like a gear like that, but then in like it said Big O and Dukes. Like it's just it's a very, very funny podcast, and they
Ooh, yeah. Okay. One thing also I forgot to mention, I'm thinking of doing a Lego build tomorrow because okay, so I can show this. This is what I was thinking of. I don't know if you guys can see this or not.
You're gonna put that together? You've got some patience.
Dude,
holy shit. How many pieces is that?
It says it's 1,030. Wait, 5,000.
1,000?
But I bought this thing together last week off Amazon. So then now I got some more tokusatsu stuff. I also picked this little adorable guy up off of.
He's a Mogwai.
Yeah.
Mogwai.
And something else came that was the wrong thing, but I get to keep it, I think. And I'm just waiting for something else, the right thing, because they're going to replace it. So it's like,
The right thing for the wrong thing. Yes.
Bonus.
Yeah, but this has been Silver Screen Savants and episode 12. And we will catch you on Saturday. You'll see me on Thursday on Tokusatsu Action Land first, but you'll probably see these guys around on their own respective channels. Do you want to drop your channel, Jay, before?
If I can, I'm trying. See that?
Or, you know what?
It's probably harder on his phone than it is.
Let me drop it. I can drop it.
If you drop it on, please, because I'm still learning. Because I'm not laptop savvy yet. When I get there, I will be the master of all I survey. So we'll see when that happens. I'm not crazy now. Don't give me that look.
Oh my goodness.
There is his link.
Thank you. Yes.
I don't know if that is clickable for you guys. Just to.
Well, okay, now I can copy it and then.
Yeah, copy and paste it. Super easy.
Okay.
No, to the people out there,
Yeah,
copy
they
and
can-
paste it.
Oh, okay.
Mhm.
Okay. If you copy that, you get to his channel. He
Yes.
covers tokusatsu and other cool stuff on his channel, like all of us do. In
And I
some
will
degree.
rule your dreams.
But
Anyway,
this has been Silver Screen Savants episode 12, and we will see ya next time.
yes, sir.
Peace out.
Out.
Deuces.